Okay, let's go ahead and get started, everybody. Well, as soon as the screen shows up, hello, Conceptis, you're on. Can you wake up? Let's try that one. There we go. Great start there, Conceptus. Thanks for showing up with me. Welcome back to another Strange Bro Jim stream. I'm your host, Strange Bro Jim. And today, we're going to be getting started with with one of the last puzzles that I'll probably be doing before they do the reset and their weekly reset. We got some Troya mod studying after that. And then we got the Talus principle later on tonight while we're trying to figure out a whole bunch of puzzles. So, um, so what we got? Well, we've pretty much finished off everything in the on the weekly. You know, did the Pic-a-Pix, Cross-a-Pix, everything, and pretty much everything in the logic puzzles. You know, I've already kind of stated my reasons why I don't really do the Sudoku, Kuruku, or the Combi in previous videos. So, you know, if you want to know those reasonings, you can always go back to those videos. Um, or those live streams. Whatever you feel like doing. um, we finished off Fill-a-Pix because that was a fairly easy one. Pretty shortly after we did our logic puzzles. And then, you know, we did the Link-a-Pix 2 days in a row, so that was a bit, um, that was quite a bit to kind of tackle for the most part. And then we have Block-a-Pix here, which um, they say is a medium plus. Now, when I look at it, you know, on a you know, instead of the small screen here, but as the actual puzzle window. Here, let me bring it up so everybody can kind of see it. There we go. There's a lot of smaller numbers for the most part in this. And typically, that doesn't seem that hard, but, you know, looks can be deceiving. So let's go ahead and take care of you know, all these ones because they are very simple, obviously. And then we will start looking for some of the easier blocks to fill in. Because there's quite a few that I've seen just by, you know, first glance from yesterday. Um, so I don't think I'm going to really be challenged too much at the very beginning. But, you know, like I said, looks can be deceiving. There might be some parts where it's like, okay, well, you have a 50-50 choice. You know, you can either do it this way or you can do it that way. And, you know, well, even the most simplest of puzzles can have that 50-50 choice where, you know, you have to kind of, you know, either pick one or the other, and you know, it's either right or wrong. So even Minesweeper has that in, you know, its game mechanic. So yeah, can't say that, um, every single puzzle is free from that particular requirement, or um, statistical probability. So, okay. So, that was pretty much all the ones that I believe I saw for the most part. So now we're gonna go and, take care of all the ones that are fairly simple to fill in, like this one right there. This 9 is simple to fill in. This 2 is. Um, 6 we can do up to there, but after that we don't really know. Um, I was talking about this 27 here that I can, basically kind of get all the way to about there. We're gonna kind of knock it back here for the most part because it could either go down 3, could go up 3, or could be, a combination of the two. We don't really know. So, um, 4 is there. Let's see. Um, 2, 3, 3. Oh wait, hold on. Could be down. 2 is 4, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 2, 2. Got about that much, but that's about it there that we can do. Got the 9 there. 3, 2, 2. Oh, just those ones. 2 there. 3 there. 2 there. 4. Okay, we got total of 5 over there, so we can do about 2 there. But if we do, yeah, that's all the way to the edge, so yeah, that's about as much as we can do up to that point. For there. There, 2 there. 3 there. Okay, can't be the 3 there. Because this would block off the 8, so it'd have to go down. Okay, 5 could either be there or it could be there. We don't really know. Could be either or, so we have to wait. Okay, 3 has to go there. 2 there. Okay, 5 can't go down, so it has to go across like so, but we don't know if it's 1 or 1, so we got 3 there. We got the 2's here. Okay. The 8. If I do 2 there, that blocks off the 4, so the 2 has to go that way. Don't know whether this 4 is up like that or like that. Don't really know, so can't really do much there. This 3 at least has that. Same with this 3. If I did the 3 across here, that would block off the 4, so it's definitely not there. And the 4 can't go across like this, so at the very least, the 3 has one down here, but I would imagine that it would come up. But it depends, you know, this um, could be a blank, you know, spot, you know. So don't really know. I'm not going to confirm that. But this 9 here really has nowhere else to go. So either way, this 3's there, that 3's there. So there we go. This 6 has really nowhere to go. This 2 has nowhere to go. 3's down. 3's crossed. This 4 really has nowhere to go. Same with this 2. This 4 really has nowhere to go. Okay, if I did the 3 across there, the 6 would be, you know, unable to do anything. So it has to go down there, which means this 2's done, that 2's done. So, and this 6 doesn't really have anywhere else to go, so we fill those in, fill those in. I mean, this 6 can basically fill in this fairly nicely, but at the same time, it could do something like this. And I wouldn't really know. Well, I do know because it would block off this 10, so it has to be like that, one way or another. No, I mean, there is no other. It has to be like that. No ifs, ands, or buts. All right. All right. This 4 goes up that way at least once. I mean, it could go down like so, and it'd be perfectly fine. Like, it's not necessarily blocking off that 5, so, but I don't know. Like, it could go all the way up here, but not really because it would block off that 6. But maybe it would go up to that point. You know, both could, this could happen as well, so don't really know. So, excuse me. Okay, 12 only has this. Can't do anything more. So, 6 only has that. Let's see, this 4 only has that. That 4 only has that. 2 is that. Okay. If I do 2 there, that blocks off this 12. So, can't do that. So, it has to go there. 12 can't really go all the way out there, so there you go. 8 only has this. There's the 2 there. Mm. Yeah, 2 news to share. Sounds good. We got. Okay, this 4 pretty much is there, and that's about it. Not much else we can do about that. 3 can only go down like so. Um, this 10 can't really go there, so it has to basically go there. That's the only way we can go. That 3 only has that then, and the 4 can only do that. 5 can only do that. So there we go. That means this 6 is done. This 5 can go out there, but it could go extend all the way out. Don't really know, but the 2's done. That 2's done. This 3 is done. This 3 is there. 2's there. This 3 is there. Um, hmm. Okay, this 6 can't really go anywhere beyond that, so this 3 is done, this 2 is done. This 5 can't go this way, so now its only option is that. So there's that. Got a call from your basketball coach and training camp starts September 10th. I'm in shape and ready to go. Sounds good, but obviously, you know, uh, you know your limits, and obviously, you have to be careful with your foot, but you're aware of that more than I do, so more than I am, so you know. Okay, this 6 really only has that to go to, and that's about it. We can't really do any more than that, so. Second news, I'd like to hear your opinion. Well, depends on what you have there, bud. I may basically say I have no opinion on it, you know, and you're just gonna have to accept that I might not want to give an opinion. Okay? Okay, let's see. Obviously we can't do anything there. We can do that and break that down, and that looks like it's the only thing that I can do for 18, to be honest. Yeah, that's really the only thing that I can do. So we got 5 here. We got 2, 2, 2. So there's that. 3's out there. 2's there. Um, we could have the 12 up here, but that would block off the 6. So I would imagine that it had to be like so for the 12, which means the 2's are like so. The 6 is like so. This 5 is out here like that, but we don't know where the last part of 5 is. Could be out here, could be back there, don't really know. So the Jersey is telling you and Blackhawk about, well, after endless loop of waiting and um, oh, okay. It finally got to you, huh? Okay. You were saying that you were fearing that you were getting scammed by somebody, so, I basically, you know, was kind of giving you a suggestion to just kind of call the credit card and have them cancel the order for you, or, cancel the payment, because obviously they weren't upholding their end of the bargain. But, but it looks like they finally did, so. Okay, this 3 can't go down, so it has to go on both sides there, which means this 5 can only go there. So that was a pretty easy fix there. 5 could either be there, or it could be like, some version of the horizontal, don't really know. So not much we can do about that. This 5 can't go to the horizontal. We can have 2 down, but we don't really know 100%, so we'll put the 3 up there. So let's see, the 10 can go all the way down, so we'll have to wait on that for the most part. I mean, we could have it go all, it'll like go across like so, but it can go all the way down, so could be either or, we don't really know. Question is, I don't know this actually happening, and now this awkward because eBay message said if I don't come on the 30th, refund will be given to you, and well, UPS said it'd be here on the 29th. Okay. Um, you can contact eBay and say, please hold off on refund. UPS states that it will be delivered tomorrow. Just let them know that, you know, hold off on it for right now. Like give and tell them, maybe give, ask them if they can, postpone that refund for like another 15 days or so. Okay. That way, they're aware that you still haven't gotten it officially yet, but they said that, it's supposed to arrive tomorrow. Okay, let them know about that, that way it will kind of be in, kind of waiting a limbo a little bit more. That's what I would say because, um, because you still haven't gotten the product, right? And if it does come, you know, like think of it this way. Let's say you tell eBay and say like, oh, my product's coming in. You don't have to worry about it. No refund necessary. I'm gonna get it, right? And they say, okay, we're gonna, stop this, and somehow, you have that whole, maybe eBay does this whole, you have to do a refund in a certain amount of time, otherwise we won't give any refunds out because obviously you're lying to us, blah blah blah, right? They might have that kind of policy. So, where they might have people that are trying to, um, unscrupulous people that are like, hey, I'm going to, get full enjoyment out of like this DVD that came to me, and I'm going to have them refund the money back, but still keep the product or something like that, right? You have some unscrupulous people out there that does crap like that and sucks. Um, but here's the thing. What happens if you do get the jersey tomorrow, and it's FUBAR, okay? You know, if you don't know what FUBAR means, it's fucked up beyond all recognition. Um, or maybe you ordered an extra large and it comes in like a triple small or something like that. Like it comes in and suddenly it's like the size of a child's or baby shirt, and you're like, how's that gonna fit me? That kind of thing, right? So then eBay's gonna come at you and go, well, you canceled the refund process, so not our fault. Clearly it falls on you because you said that there's no problem. you know no, I would contact eBay and say, listen, we still haven't officially gotten it, but we've received word that it's coming. um you know Let them know that you know if they can push back the refund date, for now till it comes. And if it does, then you can just contact them and say, we got the product, there's no issues, you know, you can go ahead and cancel. Or if it turns out to be fucked up, um, or the package never actually arrives, you know, or it's some form of like, you know, letter from the company saying, sorry, we're not unable to complete your transaction at this time or some crap like that, then obviously you're going to need to, finish off that refund, right? So that's what I would do. Just let them know, keep them aware, keep them in the loop because it's better than um, them trying to second guess or you getting basically a free item, which you know let's face it, um, even if you know like that company did take a long time getting that product to you, but they still got it to you. So they should still get, you know, um, in some ways, like, the fact that it took them forever to get it to you, doesn't necessarily bode well for that particular company or that particular individual or whatever, you know. It just might have been a person just sending you that jersey, right? Um, so, um, not necessarily a company, right? Um, but, um, you know, like if they can't hold up their end of the bargain, then they don't necessarily deserve the money that they're getting, right? Um, but I mean, if they still got it to you, then you can't necessarily screw them out of payment, right? Um, so yeah, um, just keep eBay in the loop. Let them know that you know um, that they need to to hold on processing the refund right away. So, okay, we got the 12 there, we got the 6 there, got the 3. Hmm. Okay, we can't do anything with the 10 like that, so we can do 10 like so, but we don't know whether or not it needs to go up or finish on going down. It can't finish on going down because that blocks off the 6 from getting anything done, so we have to do something like that. So there's that. 6 is like so. Can't really do anything more with that 6. 4 can't go there, but 4 can go like that. So for right now, we're just gonna extend it out like so. Yeah, you know, Blackheart doesn't have anything concerning eBay, so, or at least, he has an equivalent most likely, but, he doesn't have eBay directly, um, but I mean, I'm pretty sure that he would kind of share my statements, I would imagine. So, okay, this 9 can't go up or down. It can't go left or right. So, and we can't put it up like that. So the only other spot for this 9 is right there. So there's that. This 3 can't go that way. So that's the only option there. This 2 goes out like that. This 2 there. That 2 there. This 4's only option is that, which means those 2 are done. This 3 is done. And that's about it there. Two's done, two's done, two's done, two's done. Okay. Okay, let's see. This 12 only has room for that, and that's about it. Can't do anything more there. 4's done. 4's done. Two's done. Two's done. Two's done. Okay. Let's see. 8. Can't go anywhere else except for right there. That 2 is done. That 2 is done. This 4 can only go up to there. 2 is done. 3 can only go to there. Okay, 4 can't go out to there, so it can't go up, so that's the only option for it. 6 can only do this. This 2 can only do that. Um, Star Wars characters doing great, but I need your help write a silly part. Well, I mean, I don't know how well I can give you some comedy tips, but I could try, my friend. My dry humor might be a little off-putting, so he's a Jedi Knight now, and Prince of the planet he helping has crush on him, but my character does not know that to him he thinks they're close friends. How do you think Jedi would react to that? Alright, so typically Jedi are meant to not have any kind of romantic interest whatsoever. You know, they're, if you think about it this way, like George Lucas would kind of think of Jedi like um, very religious, like super popes kind of thing, right? In the sense that they have their full devotion to the Force, and that's it. They don't have anything else. You know, they're they're everything that they believe in is in the Force, and they have nothing else. Right? All their you know everything that they are is supposed to kind of go with the Force, and the Force is to them kind of a thing. They really have no other desires, you know, per se, right? So, um, so I think in some ways, I feel like even though um, you know, uh, George has kind of talked about how like having family, having relationships and stuff like that are very dangerous for Jedi and stuff like that. He's still allowed, like back in the Legends, to have, for like Leia to have children, for Luke to have children, um, for other Jedi to have children, kind of a thing. But so you know, it's not uncommon, you know, for a Jedi to get into any form of, romantic or, um, sexual relationships or anything along those lines. But, um, in terms of, you know, I would, uh, let me kind of put it this way. Um, Typically, us guys, we're typically laughed at and poked fun at because sometimes the you know uh, females try to do like very subtle hints that they try to say, hey, I'm interested in you to the guy, right? And the guy will just be completely oblivious to it, right? You know, that's one of the common tropes in anime where the guy is, dense as a rock to like a female advancement, right? Well, think of it this way: Jedi are kind of trained to be, as dense of a rock, I guess you might say. You know, they're basically taught that they should really have no kind of romantic interest whatsoever, right? So, um, so you could probably literally have someone walk up to him and say, "Hey, I want to go out on a date with you," and they're going to be like, "On what do you mean?" Or something like that, right? You know, they can be that dense. so, um, so you can pretty much play off of that if you want to. Um, that they are as dense as a black hole. um, when it comes to relationships, or at least the typical standard Jedi fare kind of thing. Because like I said, um, the um, um, when you go into any form of romantic relationship and stuff like that, you know, there's always that fear. There's always that worry that could happen when you're in a romantic relationship, right? You know, um, a lot of outside fears kind of starts piling on to a character, you know, about about their romantic interest. And what happens if the romance is like one way, and suddenly now you have um, your fear turns to anger, right? That whole Yoda speech, right? You know, um, fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to suffering, and that typically, leads to the dark side of the equation, right? So that's why more often than not, Jedi's don't have any form of romantic relationships because it's a very dangerous, you know, um, it can be very dangerous. You know, you can have Jedi that will turn, you know, um, that will turn dark because of, their relationship. You know, like either their partner dies on them, which leads to sadness. Um, uh, you could have that fear of like, oh my gosh, my significant other's in danger. Um, and what happens if that significant other gets hurt or something along those lines? Then it turns into anger, right? Vengeance. You know, so it's one of those things where it's like, um, it could be, um, it could be kind of problematic. So, okay, let's see. This 10 can only go right there. So, there's that. Okay, we got 12 there, so that means we can do about 4 there. And if we do that, that means we can do 2 there. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's about as much as we can do on both sides there. Yeah, and your Jedi probably is going to be thinking along those lines like, hey, this is a really good friend offering, and I'm going to enjoy their company because I enjoy their friendship and stuff like that. I'm going to enjoy a good meal. They're offering, awesome. Probably won't think a second, another, you know, probably won't even get the idea of like, oh my gosh, this person is actually wanting to, you know, have something more than just, wants to have a date kind of a thing. So, yeah. Um, well, here's the thing. Um, Jedi during the Clone Wars were considered to be generals of armies, you know, um, you know, trying to fight the separatists, right? Um, so um, now the the Jedi might look at that and go, okay, this is war, and unfortunately, that fear will come. It just has to happen, right? We're gonna have to kind of deal with the after effects. Or we're gonna have to kind of deal with the consequences of that afterwards, right? But obviously, Order 66 kind of shut down that need right there, right? Um, but um, the Jedi are meant to be, you know, defenders. Are meant to be the judges. Okay, so um, like for example, think of it this way. Let's say um, let's say your Jedi general captures an entire like city worth of um, separatists, right? Um, and basically he's kind of put in charge. They're put in charge of trying to look through all the soldiers, the civilians, the generals, and so on and so forth to see, um, you know, who should be put in prison, who should be summarily executed, um, that kind of thing, right? Now, um, now, one would think that a Jedi would probably be under the impression for the sanctity of life. Like, they wouldn't necessarily want to go for summary execution. That kind of falls under the Sith preview, per se, right? So, Um, Now, again, I don't, I haven't read a lot of the like the Jedi books or like all the the tenets of Jedi and stuff like that. Um, so I would imagine that they would be along the lines of, um, as a Jedi, pretty much imprison everybody. If they were just kind of soldiers, you know, doing, following orders kind of a thing, then obviously, um, there might be some amount of punishment along those lines, but it would be minor compared to like, like having a general doing, you know, basically barking said orders, right? So say like, they get a city, or they capture a city, right? Pull it from the separatists. They capture a number of generals and lots of soldiers, right? And then they find out that the general was, you know, um, basically starving the civilians just so he could, get all the food in the city. Like they put a blockade around the city. No more food was coming in, so the general was eating all the food and leaving none for anybody else, right? Not even his own soldiers. So, hearing that, you know, what do you think a Jedi would do? Now, if this general was the cause for a number of civilian deaths themselves, then one would think, well, this guy doesn't deserve any right to live beyond that. So, they um, should lose their life as they've caused suffering onto others, right? But at the same time, a Jedi may look at that and go, we're gonna keep you alive, but we're gonna put you in the worst jail cell ever, and you're gonna live the rest of your life there. Okay? They may kind of keep that person alive, you know, um, because the Force is all about life, right? So, um, you know, although it's more, you know, uh, energetic beings than, than flesh, really. So, um, but I would imagine that they wouldn't necessarily want to give this guy like the privilege of, um, the peace of death, in a sense, right? If I were the Jedi, I'd be like, okay, you're gonna be going into a labor camp where you're gonna spend the rest of your time, you know, atoning for the sins that you caused for others. You're gonna be working on equipment that will benefit, the planet by building mechanical parts for farm equipment or something like that, right? Or something like that, right? Um, that's probably how I would imagine a Jedi would probably react. Again, just my own little like opinion about it. So, um, but like a Jedi would show some amount of compassion while still upholding that rule of law, kind of thing, right? So, um, like if they saw that all the soldiers were being starved, they would basically go, get these soldiers fed. Let's get these guys, um, you know, let's pull out our food reserves. help these guys get their strength back. You know, they were part of the separatist army, so they're gonna need to go into like a um, they're gonna need to serve time for being for being against the Republic. Um, or maybe checking the individuals to see, like, did they even commit any crimes? Were they like someone that was like in the like the maintenance part of the army and they never actually killed anyone? Then it'd be like, okay, well, you can either go home and live out the rest of your life at home and never join the separatist army ever again, or you come and work for us, where we'll give you a job, we'll give you some food, we'll give you some money, and you work for us to take down the separatist army. Um, and obviously you keep an eye on the guy so he doesn't necessarily sabotage, but still, it's one of those things where it's like, as a Jedi, they'd be very, um, they'd be very compassionate for, um, for the, soldiers that are like fighting for the separatists, for example. Obviously, droids, reprogram them and have them work, you know, work in a mining facility or something like that, right? That's common procedure for any kind of droid, right? Wipe their memory and have them do something else, right? That's kind of that's kind of how it goes for when it comes to droids. Um, droids are not really considered any form of um, uh, you know, like pure artificial intelligence, even though in some ways they are. But um, like droids don't really have you know they don't really have any kind of like emotions or anything like that. They're not gonna like cry or be upset or anything along those lines, right? So they're not designed that way. So they don't really have any form of you know life to them per se. So they're basically viewed like like any kind of regular tool, you know. So yeah. So you have to kind of um figure what you kind of want to have. Do you want to show him as being outright ruthless? Like putting him into a situation where he, you know, um, you know, uh, like 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 you know, giving him an example for for as an example. Let's say your character, he does eventually track down an army and puts them under siege. Okay, no ships in or out. They have no form of major food production, or if they do, it's very small to handle the entire size of the city, right? Um, it's like trying to hold it's like trying to put Coruscant under siege, right? Now, obviously, putting an entire planet under siege is a lot of work, okay? And Coruscant, that's almost impossible. Okay, it's the center of the um, it's the center of the Star Wars, you know, galaxy. You'd have fleet after fleet after fleet of Republic starships coming in to try to break the blockade that's there on their Coruscant. There's really no way to even consider um, putting a blockade around all of Coruscant unless you want the entire galaxy after you. And believe me, you would need to have an entire galaxy's worth of ships to try to put up a blockade around Coruscant. So, um, but let's just say your Jedi puts, an army that he tracked down. They hole up in the city, and you put the city under siege. Now, what will your character do? Okay. You now have the enemy in a city. If you go into the city, you're going to cause, if you start fighting in the streets, you're going to have untold, civilian casualties, right? Which is not something a Jedi would want, right? If they were to, um, you know, do they completely cut it off from any kind of food or medical, um, you know, completely? Well, what happens to the civilians? What happens to the folks that are in any form of like hospitals and stuff like that? What happens to them? What does your Jedi do for them, right? Does he does he send in some airdrops into the city saying here's some food for the civilians, right? Here's some medical supplies for the hospitals. You know, does he send in supplies to specific hospitals and say, here's supplies for just the hospital? Blah blah blah. Um, Now, if he if he does like a full-on stranglehold of it, like no food, no medicine, no water, no electricity, nothing, and he feels nothing if he hears about civilians just starving in the streets, then that's very dark, my friend. That's not something that a Jedi would typically go for. Okay. He's actually promoting suffering on others. He's basically kind of promoting the creation of Sith, if you think about it, right? So that is something that a Jedi would not stand for. Okay, that would be injustice. That would be unjust, for a Jedi, right? So you had to kind of figure that out, you know, figure out what your character would do in that kind of a scenario. So, um, um, he would order snipers on every rooftop and order normal clone guards to civilians and hospitals and send stuff. Well, that's the problem. As soon as he starts sending in troops, he's going to have fighting in the streets. And if the city is loyal to the separatists, then you're going to have normal civilians trying to pick up weapons to fight off the clone troopers. What's going to happen then? So there's a lot to kind of consider, you know, when you're in that kind of um, situation. Um, there is a anime that I would recommend if you haven't seen it yet. Okay, and it kind of has this kind of situation in mind, right? And it's That particular episode in question is really, it can get really dark. It can get really nasty. And the anime is, called Tanya the Evil. Um, I think it's called Tanya the Evil. Hold on, let me confirm the name here. The Saga of Tanya the Evil. Well, that's the English translation of it, but um, I think it's the translation is kind of off. They say the Military Chronicles of a Little Girl, I believe, is the you know, is the official translation of it, from what I understand. Um, but if you've never seen that series, it's a good series. I really did enjoy that show. Um, but there's one episode where um, they get into a situation where they had a city under siege, and um, Tanya was basically put in charge of trying to um, handle the situation that was there, and it dealt with a lot. So if you haven't seen it, then I would recommend it. So, but obviously, you know, um, that's just an example. You know, um, that's why it can be um, you know, when it comes to a city siege, you know, sometimes a city siege can be um, some of the darkest moments in history. You know, it's not really that pretty to talk about a city siege. So, and when you have a Jedi that's kind of doing that siege, you're gonna have to try to figure out how does the Jedi handle that amount of negativity, right? So, um, if that happened, you tell troopers set blasters to stun, not kill, but he show up and with his troopers set the planet similar. I don't want to start something, so let's talk and make a deal. My character would rather talk it out like normal people than fight 24/7. His goal is to make sure no trooper or anyone gets badly hurt, and that would probably be something that um, a normal Jedi would probably try to do. But I mean, um, you have to figure in the other side of the coin. You know, um, you know, you obviously have your main character, but now you have you potentially might have someone that he's been you know, kind of going after for a long time, potentially, right? Or, he might be going after another general that he's been pursuing or fighting with for a long time on this planet. And he's finally gotten to a point where he's kind of surrounded them. And now, what happens if that general is just like super proud, like they don't want to surrender or anything along those lines? Like they would like literally willing to sacrifice all the civilians in the city before they themselves would surrender. You know what I'm saying? Um, so you have to basically, you know, um, you may need to kind of consider it like a literal, like, Batman versus Joker kind of scenario. So, so that's why you have to kind of be, um, when you're like writing really good characters kind of thing, obviously you want to, if you're writing a like a really good, um, really good character, like really, morally right kind of character, like what a Jedi would kind of be all about and stuff like that, then obviously, you wanna try to, you know, you want to try to give them scenarios where you want to kind of test their morality, right? You want to kind of push those boundaries. Like, what would this Jedi do if they were suddenly faced with this madman of a general or madman of a psychopath that would literally kill all the civilians on in this city just to make sure that they survive, kind of thing. You know, um, and sometimes that could be some really good, good versus evil kind of scenario. So, and sometimes that might turn your particular good character into a gray or maybe even dark character. So yeah, that's one of those things where it's like, um, that would be a pretty, uh, you know, that's something that you'll have to kind of consider there, Kirito, about your characters. So, hey there, Van. Hey there, Overpowered. How you doing? How's your days been? Welcome to the stream. We're gonna go ahead and shut down the Conceptis Puzzles portion of the stream, though. I'm gonna save it here. We're gonna try to we're gonna try to finish this tomorrow, during the stream. Um, so, um, so the so tomorrow we're gonna go ahead and finish off the medium plus puzzle tomorrow. Um, and then we'll go ahead and work into the um, and hopefully we'll finish it by tomorrow, but there might be that chance where I might not necessarily be able to finish it on stream. Like I said, I normally put this for about an hour or so before I close on down and move on to the next topic. But um, so Van, Kirito's writing a lot of like stories themselves, so they were kind of curious as to how to write up certain scenarios and stuff like that. Um, so it's just kind of giving them some potential ideas or things to kind of think about for their main character that they're writing about. Um, so um, I don't know, Kirito, have you been um you've been writing these mostly on your own, right? Or you've only been kind of writing about them in your own personal space, right? You haven't been like putting them up on any kind of like website or anything like that, right? You haven't been kind of posting them publicly? No idea, the cameraman. So, alright. Well, in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and switch on over to the we're going to go ahead and switch on over to the next topic that we're going to be covering. We're going to be working on the, I'm going to be switching on over to the Terraria mod building or studying of the Terraria mods. So I'm going to go ahead and shut off this video, this recording right now. I'm going to do that.